Hello, I am Pratim Shah. I am currently in fourth year, final year MBBS from IPGMR and NCSKM Hospital. Welcome to all of you to our new topic discussion, the must know read topics about the plan growth and development. This is a highly important chapter in terms of MCQ. This year, 4 MCQs, around 4 MCQs are asked from this topic. So don't ignore this topic. This topic is a little bit conceptual and factual based, but this is very important in terms of MCQ solving because in the hope you all did well in the NEET exam. Sorry, am I audible? Am I audible to all of you? Good afternoon, Tisha. Uh, Very warm welcome to our group and YouTube channel. Am I audible to all of you? Please respond in the chat box. Okay, thank you. Okay, so what we found that this year NEET does not focus on the important topic like physio. They gave physio questions around 9 to 12 questions, but they are all concept based, purely concept based. Okay, but they are focusing on the topics you don't read. They are focusing on plant growth. They are focusing on respiration chapter. They are focusing on photosynthesis. So the chapters you have ignored, they are focusing on that chapters, right? So you have to decide that you don't miss any single topic of NCERT. You don't miss any single topic. So every topic is equal and very important in terms of MCQs because from every chapter 2 or 3 MCQs will be asked. So you should be very careful about this. Don't read excessively physio and excessively other chapters that does not have uh, good this does not have good marks. Okay, so focus on the more important chapters like plant physiology. Okay, more application based chapter like biotechnology, very important. From biotechnology there are 9 questions from this year. 9 questions. Evolution is a very important chapter in terms of MCQ. Okay, so I don't want to waste your time, so let's discuss our today's topic. This is planned growth and development. Okay, we will focus on the MCQ part as well as the theory and the conceptual part. Okay, so first we'll start from basic. Okay, first we'll start from basic and then we'll go to the conceptual part and some factual based question. Okay, keep a copy with you so that you can write along with me. Okay, so we'll starting the chapter. Okay, how many out of you are online at this moment? Please respond in the chat box so I can start, and you can share the link. Please share the link to your friends so that they can join also. Okay, okay, sure, start. So first we have to state some basic facts. Okay, so plant growth plant growth is indeterminate, and most important point is it is unlimited. It has unlimited growth capacity. It has unlimited growth capacity. Okay, what do you mean by that? There are apical meristem, there are intercalary meristem, and there are lateral meristem. You must have known. So lateral meristem helps in forming wood formation. Wood formation occurs in dicot plant and in gymnosperm. In monocot plant there is no wood formation. Gymnosperm. Okay. So in dicot and gynmo there is wood formation and there is presence of vascular cambium. That is a part of lateral meristem. That is a part of lateral meristem. Meristem is what? Meristem is a tissue that has excessive dividing capacity. Excessive dividing capacity. This is the most important one. Excessive dividing capacity. So they divide and from the new cells. So from one cells there will be two cells, and two cells from there will be four cells, and 4 to 8, and so on. Okay. So this is an example of vascular cambium. In dicot and gymnosperm there will be presence of vascular cambium, right? Okay. Next, this is also known as secondary growth. Secondary growth. One is primary growth of the plant. Primary growth is what? This is the plant, and when the length of the plant is increasing in the apical region, so there is length of the plant is increasing, there is primary growth. Primary growth, okay. And when the width of the plant or the width of the plant is increasing, then that is secondary growth. So in secondary growth, there is increasing the width of the plant, or increasing the diameter of the plant, right? Or increase the diameter of the plant. This is possible in which plants? Gymnosperms and dicot plant. In the monocot plant, there is no vascular cambium. If there is no vascular cambium, there will be no wood formation. Clear? There will be no wood formation. So secondary growth is normally not seen in the monocot plant. Secondary growth not seen in the monocot plant. Clear? Okay. This is clear? Okay, right? Next some points about the growth. This is clearly written in NCERT. You have to read about this. Some point about growth. Growth is measurable. Growth is what? What do you mean by growth? Increasing the amount of protoplasm. Second is increasing the cell number and increasing the cell size. Clear? These 3 points have to remember. And apart from this, there will be other 3 points. There is increasing the length, just like in the pollen tube. In the pollen tube, there is an increase in the length, so that is also a growth. Okay. Second is increase in the surface area. Of the plant. Just like leaf. In the leaf, there will be surface area expansion. So more the surface area, more will be the transpiration. More the surface area, if this is the surface area, and the more the surface area, more will be the evaporation of the water and more will be the transpiration. Clear? Okay. Next is increasing the weight. There will be increasing the fresh weight and increasing the dry weight. Okay. When there is no water, then there is dry weight, and when there is water, then it is fresh weight. Clear? Okay. Next. So there will be 3 phases of the growth. 3 phases of the plant growth. What will be the 3 phases of the plant growth? 3 phases of the plant growth. First phase is meristematic phase. So in the meristematic phase, what is the meristematic phase? Increasing the number of the cells. Yeah, increase the number of the cells. So meristematic cells are dividing rapidly. So 1 cells to 2 cells, 2 cells to 8 cells, 4 cells, 4 cells to 8, 8 to 6, and so on. So increasing the number in the AP series. Clear? In the GP series. Okay, in the GP series. So in the meristematic cells, increasing the protoplasm. Is the main funda, and the second phase is elongation phase. In the elongation phase, what happens? The maximum growth occurs in the elongation phase. This is, you have to remember, the maximum growth occurs in the elongation phase. Okay, and 3 phases, no, 3 region. It will be 3 region of the 3 regions of the plant growth. Okay, and third is maturation layer. Okay, maturation layer. So if this is the root, okay, this is the root cap, This is the root cam, and this is the root apical meristem, and this is the root apical meristem. This is the root apical meristem. Okay, so this apical meristem means what? Increasing the number of the cells. So it will increase in the number of cells along the apical region. So it will increase in the length. It will increase in the length. Okay, and the maximum growth occurs in the what phase? What region? Elongation. This is the region of elongation of the root. This is the region of elongation. In the elongation region, there will be maximum growth. There will be maximum growth. You have to remember. Okay, you have the maximum growth. And the third region is where the root hairs are originating. This is the root hair. From the root hair, you know the imbibition of the water, and ultimately it leads to the water into the xylem and up to the high in the plant. So this is the root hair zone. This is the root hair zone. The root hair zone in the maturation zone. This is the maturation zone. So there will be three zones. One is meristematic zone, where the meristem are originated. One the meristematic zone. This is the meristematic zone. First is meristematic zone, second is elongation zone, and third is maturation zone. Okay, third is maturation zone. Where the maximum growth are arising, there will be three features. Where the maximum growth in the elongation phase, the three features: increased number of vacuolation. Second is increase the cell enlargement. And third is new cell wall deposition. Three distinctive features of the elongation phase. One is increased number of vacuolation, second is cell enlargement, and new cell wall deposition. 3 points you have to remember for the elongation phase. Okay, next is growth rate. Growth rate will be two types: arithmetic growth rate and geometric growth rate. Okay, arithmetic means 1, 2, 3, 4. This is arithmetic, and geometric means 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. This way. Okay, so we will divide the growth into the two parts. Write along with me. One is arithmetic growth. And second is geometric growth. Okay. So divide the pages into two halves. We have to write more number of points. Okay. In the arithmetic growth curve, we have seen that this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis. Okay. This is the x-axis. This is the height of the plant. And this is the time. This is in the x-axis and this is in the y-axis. Okay. So what will be the curve? This will be the curve. Arithmetic growth. Okay. So this is a linear curve. Okay. This is the linear curve. What you have understood that some of you have math in your curriculum. Okay. So you will better understand, or in the physics you have known about the slope. So it is the slope. So what you have find, the slope is not changing. In the linear curve, the slope is not changing. Remains the same. So slope is remain the same. So what we will call that? Slope, or m remains same throughout this event. Okay. So, and if we derivative dh by dt, dh means ki height of the plant is represented by h and time represented by t. So at an instantaneous time, the dh dt equals to what? Theta. So we if this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, you have known, if this is the straight line and this is the angle theta or m, slope, so dy dx equals to tan theta equals to m. You have known from physics point of view. So dh dt equals to tan theta or equals to m. M means slope. Clear? and we have talked about already that dH/dt or slope is same. So dH/dt here is same or constant okay, same or constant. So what is constant? dH/dt. So growth of the plant or the height of the plant per unit time is constant. So this is known as arithmetic growth or linear curve is obtained. Clear? Is it clear to all of you? Please respond. Is it clear? Okay. Next. So we have concluded that the rate is the rate. This is the rate. dH/dt is the rate. Rate is constant. So in constant rate, so in the constant rate there will be arithmetic curve. There will be arithmetic curve. Rate will be the constant. Clear? So what will happen? Okay. So if this is a cell, one cell, second cell, first and second, okay. So the one daughter cells, first from one daughter cells will be dividing and the other daughter cells will not divide, these blue colored cells will not divide and the yellow colored cells will divide. So the point is only one daughter cell continue to divide. Clear? Continue to divide. Clear? So these daughter cells will divide into two in the arithmetic progression. So there is two daughter cells. Clear? Two daughter cells. So what will be the function? So one cells and other cells, one cell and other cells, and these cells will not divide, and from this also more two cells will divide, one cells and other cells. This will not divide, clear? These will not divide. So this is the format. So we can represent that in the geometric growth. We can draw a curve. What is the curve? If this is the y-axis and this is the x-axis, this is the time and this is the size of the plant, size or weight of the plant. Clear? Okay. Next is this is uprighting slope. Okay, this is an uprighting slope. So there will be in this region there will be lag phase. Lag phase means in this time the size of the or width of the plant does not grow rapidly. So this is just little growth in this phase, in the lag phase, and then comes the exponential phase. This is the exponential phase. Okay, this is the exponential phase, and this is also known as log phase. So maximum growth occurs in the log phase. This is the NEET 2020 questions. Okay, the maximum growth in the log phase. So you can easily find out if here is we can draw a line. This is the slope, and if from the here we can draw a line, then this is the slope. This slope is greater than this slope. So where the slope is the maximum, there will be maximum growth, because slope is the dH/dt or the d weight dt. So at an instantaneous time, the maximum growth or the maximum height increase is the maximum slope. Clear? This is the maximum slope. This is clear? Okay. Next, at this point, this will be a straight line. So why this causes a straight line? What causes this straight line? So here will be growth in this phase. Growth equals to constant. Okay, and growth rate is zero. Okay, so because in this format there is no m, there is no slope. So if a straight line is drawn here, so you have known, if a straight line is parallel to the x-axis, then the slope will be zero. So if slope will be zero, there will be no growth rate. I have already mentioned that growth rate is called as slope, okay, or m value. So if the growth rate is 0, so m value will be 0. Okay, clear? So this is a stationary, or this is the stationary, this is the stationary phase, as no growth rate is observed. Growth is also there, but growth rate is 0. Okay, growth is not changing, growth is constant. Clear? The stationary phase or plateau phase, or plateau phase. Okay, this is growth phase or plateau phase. Okay, why this happen? There is nutrient deprivation, there is nutrient deprivation, or there is nutrient limitation. As nutrients is limited, further growth or further size of the weight of the plant does not grow at a beyond a particular level. This is the end point. After that, there will be stationary level or the plateau phase. So there will be three phases: lag phase, one is lag phase, one is log phase, and one is stationary phase or plateau phase. These are three phases of the geometric growth. So you have to tell that the m value is changing or not in this curve. Please tell me, dear students, please tell me, is the m value is changing or not? Is the m value is changing or not in this curve? Yes, the m value is changing. You can correlate this. Here is m value is something. This is m1. Okay, here the curve line is that, so there is m value is m2. Okay, and here the m is 0. So here the m is 0, here the m is 0. So m value is rapidly changing throughout the curve. M value is rapidly changing throughout the curve. So you have to mention that slope or m is variable, okay, variable or changing, or slope changes, okay, slope changes. Clear? Okay, the arithmetic curve is seen, in which section? The arithmetic curve is seen in root elongation, when the root apical meristem will elongate along the axis of the plant, along the vertical axis, or increasing the length of the plant, then it show the arithmetic growth curve. So root elongation is an example of arithmetic growth curve. Clear? Okay, next, here the example is trees. Normally all parts of the trees, maximum parts of the trees, are showing the geometrical growth curve. So this growth curve is this is the growth curve, this is almost like S shaped, so this is also called as sigmoid growth curve. So trees have sigmoid growth curve. Clear? In the root elongation there will be arithmetic growth curve, and in the trees other parts there will be sigmoid growth curve or the geometric growth curve. Okay, the geometric growth curve. Okay, what will be the formula of this? If there is log phase, so exponentially the weight of the plant is rising. So what will be the formula? The weight W1 equals to W0 e to the power RT. Okay, W1 equals to the final size, and W0 equals to the initial weight. So this is the formula. Okay, W1 equals to W0 e to the power RT. E is exponential function. Okay, and R is what? R is relative growth or efficiency index. Very important. R is efficiency index, and T is for time. Okay, T is for time. E equals to power. Okay, e to the power exponential power, efficiency index. So R refers to relative growth or efficiency index. Clear? Okay. Next, these two growth curve, and for the arithmetic growth curve, the formula is LT equals to L0 plus RT. This is a linear equation, like y equals to mx plus c. This is the equation, y equals to mx plus c. Y means what? The final length. Okay, y equals to, this is also a y equals to mx plus c equation, because what, this is the intercept, this is the intercept, you know, this is the intercept, this is the c, okay, this is the c, and y equals to mx plus c. So m equals to y by x, y by x, m equals to y by x, clear? Okay, and c is a constant, c is a constant, and c is also known as intercept, intercept in the y axis, intercept in the y axis. Okay, so this equation is similar to y equals to mx plus c. So if we represent y equals to mx plus c in the arithmetic group, so what will we represent? This is the representation, lt equals to l0 plus rt. Here y equals to what, lt, lt means final length, final length of the plant. Okay, lt equals to the final length of the plant. Okay, l0 equals to initial length, initial length. Okay, r equals to what, r equals to, here r equals to not relative growth or efficiency index, here r equals to growth rate, growth rate or the elongation per unit time, because in the apical meristem or the root apical meristem there is increase in the height, increase in the height, so there will be elongation, so there will be elongation, so elongation per unit time, elongation per unit time, this is the formula. Okay, so here if you represent y equals to mx plus c, y equals to lt, l0 equals to c, l0 equals to c, and m equals to what, r, and t equals to x. So y equals to c plus mx or mx plus c. This is the representation, this is the real representation of this curve. Clear? All is conceptual, don't memorize the facts. Okay, this is the concept. Okay, next point I want to highlight that what is relative growth rate and what is absolute growth rate. Okay, so if this is the plant, this is the primary plant, this is 5 centimeter square. Okay, and after growth that will be what, 10 centimeter. Suppose this is be 10 centimeter after growth, so what is the increase, 5 to 10. Okay, so what is the increase, 5 centimeter square is the increase. Okay, okay, if this is a 50 centimeter square, if this is a 50 centimeter square cross sectional area, and after growth that will be 55, after growth that will be 55 centimeter square. Okay, what will be the growth, absolute growth, this will be only 5 centimeter, so there will be 5 centimeter absolute growth, and here also this is also 5 centimeter square, and this is also 5 centimeter square. So what is the difference between that, what is the difference between two growth of the plant? Both sides, this is represented as A and this is represented as B. Clear? And then, so if we talk about the absolute growth rate, if we talk about the absolute growth rate, so both in A and B there will be absolute growth rate of 5 centimeter square, because from 5 to 10, so the absolute growth rate is 5 centimeter square. So here also there will be 5 centimeter square will be the absolute growth rate. Remind that. So 5 centimeter square will be the absolute growth rate. 5 centimeter square will be the absolute. So absolute growth rate is in both A and B equals to same. In A and B both absolute growth rate will be same. Clear? Okay. Next point. Next point will be what? What will be the relative growth rate? This is very, very important. What will be the relative growth rate? What will be the relative growth rate in between the two? So relative growth rate is characterized by the change in the cross-sectional area by the primary length or by the primary length. So in this scenario, in the A scenario, there will be 5 centimeter square change and initial is 5. So there will be 100%. The relative growth rate is 100% in the plant A. Okay. In the relative growth rate of B, what will be the relative growth rate of B? Change is here also 5, but initial is 50. So 1 by 10 equals to 10% into 100%. If we calculate into 100%, so 1 by 10 into 100% equals to 10%. Clear? So absolute growth rate is same in A and B, but the relative growth rate is higher in A plant than B. Clear? Higher in A plant than B. This is the fundamental thing. So absolute growth, relative growth rate, A very greater than B. A in 100% and B equals to 10%. So relative growth rate in A is much more higher than B. But absolute growth rate in A and B both are same. Both are same. Clear? Is it clear to everybody? So these things, this concept you have to master. You have to master this absolute growth rate, absolute AGR, absolute growth rate, clear, and the relative growth rate. And the relative growth rate, AGR and RGR, relative growth rate and absolute growth rate. This is very important. Clear? Next. Okay. Next is what is de-differentiation and what is re-differentiation. Okay. These 2 points you often ignore, but this is very conceptual. What is de-differentiation? De-differentiation and what is re-differentiation? Okay, re-differentiation. Suppose there is a child. They are dividing. Okay, they are dividing means they are growing. Okay, so child will ultimately form to adult. So in this representation, we can say that in the apical meristem, are rapidly dividing cells. Apical meristem are rapidly dividing cells. These are young cells or the childish cells. They are giving rise to what? The permanent cells, xylem, phloem. Okay, the ground tissues. Okay, the parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma, all are the permanent tissues. So the adult is like the permanent tissues of the plant. Adult is like the permanent tissues or the cells of the plant. Cells of the plant. Okay. So from child to adult, this is a transition. Okay. So if this is unstable cells, meristems are always the unstable cells, and the child is unstable or the adult is stable. Okay. The adult is stable. Okay. So if these adults are going to divide like child, or the permanent tissue again dividing, again they are stable, so they are generally not dividing. They are when stable cells will be formed, there are non-dividing cells. Okay, when the unstable or the meristematic cells, I told you the meristematic cells are unstable cells, they are dividing cells, they are rapidly dividing cells. So when the stable or the permanent cells are originating, they are not dividing. Generally they are not dividing. So we can say that differentiated cells. So there is differentiation between unstable and stable cells. So when the child, there is through many phases, are grown to the adult, childs are grown to the adult, there will be called as differentiation. The term is called as differentiation. So a unstable or the young cell, when transformed into the adult cell or the more mature or more stable cells, then that process is called as differentiation. So there is the process of from child to adult, or the apical meristem or unstable cells to permanent or stable cells are called as differentiation. This process is called as differentiation. So these are the adult cells or the permanent tissues are the differentiated cells. We can say that this is the differentiated cells. So these cells generally lose their capacity to divide. As they are stable cells, their capacity to divide. Okay, capacity to divide. But due to certain conditions, they again regain their dividing capacity. Their dividing capacity. Okay. Regain their dividing. So these stable cells will divide further. These stable cells under certain situation, they will be dividing first. Okay. So what will be this example? What will be the example of the de-differentiation? You must have known the secondary growth or the lateral growth of the plant, or the dicot and the gymnosperm plant. So in the lateral growth, there will be, in the outside there is phloem, and the inside there is xylem. Both are what? Both are stable cells. Both are stable cells, you know. So they are permanent cells or stable cells. But in between the two, there will be presence of what? There will be presence of vascular cambium. This is dividing. This is the dividing in the vascular cambium. Okay, this is the vascular cambium. This is the vascular cambium. These will divide. So this will divide in this direction. There will be secondary phloem. From the primary phloem are destroyed and secondary phloem will be formed. And in this direction, vascular cambium is a dividing cells. Vascular cambium is a dividing cells. This vascular cambium when divide, then that is also called as lateral meristem. Why they are called as lateral meristem? Because they increase the lateral width of the plant. They increase the lateral width, or they increase the girth of the plant. So that's why the vascular cambium is called as lateral meristem. Lateral meristem. So in the xylem portion, there will be formation of secondary xylem. So you can say that what will be the dedifferentiation process? You can say that this vascular cambium, it can be interfascicular cambium and it can be what? It can be interfascicular. Let me draw some example. This is a dicot plant. Clear? This is a dicot plant. Clear? So dicot plant vascular bundle are arranged what? In the ring fashion. In the ring fashion, the vascular bundle are arranged. This is the vascular bundle. In the vascular bundle, in the outer side, what? There will be outer side phloem, and the inner side there will be xylem. This is the vascular cambium. And whole is called fascicle. Fascicle. This is a fascicle. This is a fascicle. This is a fascicle. This is a fascicle. There are 5 fascicles in this. Let's assume that there are 5 fascicles. So, okay, it will be phloem. It will be xylem. It will be phloem. It will be xylem. So outer side will be phloem, and inner side will be xylem. Phloem and xylem. Clear? And in between the xylem and phloem, what will persist? This is a intrafascicular cambium, because in the fascicle itself, this is a cambium or the dividing tissue. So this is called as intrafascicular cambium. Mind the word, intrafascicular cambium. Okay, this is intrafascicular cambium. And intrafascicular, total 5 numbers of intrafascicular cambium are arranged or are connected by interfascicular cambium. This is important. This is interfascicular cambium. This green thing is interfascicular cambium. So interfascicular cambium joins the intrafascicular cambium. Okay, this is the inter. This is intra in the fascicle, and between the fascicle there will be interfascicular cambium. Very important in the interfascicular cambium. So between the fascicle are eta, and this one is inside the fascicle. Fascicle is a bundle, just vascular bundle. Outer side phloem and inner side xylem, and in between this intrafascicular cambium. Okay, inside the fascicle. Okay, so this intra and this is one is intrafascicular and one is interfascicular cambium. So these both intra and interfascicular cambium, this intra and interfascicular cambium, both are giving rise to what? Both are giving rise to secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Okay, secondary phloem. So secondary xylem will be what? The secondary xylem will be responsible for what? Secondary xylem will be responsible for wood formation. Only secondary xylem will be responsible for wood formation. Remind it. In the wood, this year question, I will be discussing this year question. Very conceptual question, but tricky. So in the wood, remind this. If this is the vascular cambium, okay, this is the vascular cambium, ring shape, this is the vascular cambium. In the cross section, this is the vascular cambium. In the vascular cambium, outside is what? Phloem, and inside is xylem. So when it will divide in the secondary growth, what it will produce? Secondary xylem inside and secondary phloem outside. Clear? Secondary xylem inside and secondary phloem is outside. So secondary xylem are produced inside. This is the secondary xylem production. There is secondary xylem production. Okay, and outside the vascular cambium, anything outside the vascular cambium also consists of the bark of the plant. Clear? So outside the vascular cambium, this is outside the vascular cambium, what will be produced? Secondary phloem. This is clear. And you know already, secondary phloem leads to bark. Is one of the component of bark. It is one of the component of bark. Clear? So anything outside the vascular cambium give rise to bark formation, or are a component, are one of the component, is one of the component of bark formation. Clear? So anything outside the vascular cambium and anything inside the vascular cambium, okay, anything inside or towards the center of the vascular cambium, there will be secondary xylem. And secondary xylem has two parts. Okay, secondary xylem has two parts. Here is the trick. Secondary xylem has two parts. What will be the two parts? In the center, you know already, there will be maximum xylem components are what? Dead components. Okay, only xylem parenchyma is living. Xylem parenchyma is living. You know already, is living. Are all other xylem tissue are non-living. So maximum xylem tissues are non-living cells. So due to deposition of tannins and different organic substances, the non-living xylem tissues are deposited into the center of the secondary xylem. Secondary xylem is whole. This whole is the secondary xylem. Okay. In the secondary xylem also, when the organic substances deposited in the center, or the dead tissues of the xylem deposited in the center, that is called as heartwood. This is the heartwood. So thus in the centermost point, that will be the heartwood. This is the heartwood. Heart is our center, and the heartwood is also at the center. Okay, heartwood is also at the center. So this is the heartwood. Okay. So in the secondary xylem, at the centermost point will be the heartwood, and the periphery will be covered by also. This is also covered by what? Sapwood. This is also covered by other secondary xylem. So this secondary xylem component outside the heartwood, there will also be secondary xylem, because towards the center, I told you, all are secondary xylem inside the vascular cambium. Okay, so this is called as sapwood. So secondary xylem consists of wood. In the centermost point, there will be heartwood, and in the periphery, there will be sapwood. This is crystal clear. Phloem has no role in wood formation. Mind it, phloem has no role in wood formation. Phloem has role in bark formation. Anything outside the vascular cambium or in the secondary phloem is a component of bark formation, not wood formation. Remind it for life. Okay. Next. So heartwood helps in what? Heartwood helps in the mechanical strength. So it mainly provides the mechanical strength. Okay. So it will provide the mechanical strength of the plant. Okay. And sapwood help in what? S for sap. S for ascent of sap. You already know the ascent of sap is mediated by what? Xylem. So here the secondary xylem, the sapwood secondary xylem are helping in uptaking the minerals and waters. That is also called as ascent of cells or translocation. So or uptake of minerals. Okay, uptake of minerals and salts. Uptake of minerals and salts from the soil. So in the woody plant, what will facilitate the ascent of sap? The sapwood. S for sap, S for ascent of sap. Okay, the heartwood has no function in uptaking of the minerals. Heartwood is actually the deposition of tannins and organic substances. Heartwood is mainly deposition of tannin and other organic substances, other dead organic substances, other organic substances of secondary xylem. Okay, or dead secondary xylem. Clear? Okay, next. So what will be the then differentiation? So the cells capable of lateral growth, like and intra intrafascicular cambium are the example of dedifferentiation. They are the in between the stable cells and they will further divide. And formation of secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Clear? Secondary phloem. So, okay. One more point I want to highlight. In the sapwood, you have read about the annual ring. Okay. So in the sapwood there will be alternating alternating dark and white, alternating dark and light. This is a light and this is a dark. Okay, and this is also a light. This is also light, and also then there is the dark. So in the sapwood there will be annual ring. In the sapwood there will be seeing annual ring. Annual ring consists of two. One is early or spring wood, and one is late wood or autumn wood. Okay, this early wood is light in color. And this is dark in color. So annual ring consists of dark and light wood. Okay, when the vascular cambium growth is more, then there will be light wood formation. Clear? When the vascular cambium growth is less, there will be dark wood formation. Clear? So there will alternating dark and white. Clear? So in a year there will be one light wood, one dark wood circle. So there will be one light and one dark. So the how many rings the formed from there we can estimate the age of the plant. So if there is 50 concentric rings, so what will be the age of the plant? Near about 50 years. Okay, so annual ring is composed of, if this is a ring, total is a ring, there will be early wood and there will be late wood. This is a one ring, and there will be other ring. Clear? Other ring. Each ring consists of early and late wood. Clear? Early and late. Okay. So annual rings gives us information about the age of the plant. Annual ring gives us the information about the age of the plant. Annual ring is nothing but the measurement of the lateral growth. Measurement of the woody lateral growth of the woody plants lateral or secondary growth. Clear? This is clear? Okay. So what is the example? Interfascicular and intrafascicular. Clear? Okay. Next. This is the differentiation process. And what is the redifferentiation? Redifferentiation is nothing but when the inter and intrafascicular cambium divide. So what it will generate? More cells like in the outer side. What? In the outer side there will be secondary phloem generation, and in the inner side there will be secondary xylem generation, and this is the vascular cambium. This is the intrafascicular cambium. Okay, this is the intrafascicular cambium. There will be outside there will be secondary phloem, and inside there will be secondary xylem. So this is redifferentiation, because normal differentiation means apical meristem to permanent tissue. When the permanent tissues are dividing, then that is called differentiation. Then that is called differentiation, and when the intra and interfascicular divide to give rise to new stable cells. Okay, so divide to new stable cells which have a specific function, then that is called that process is called as redifferentiation. Okay, so they will redifferentiate. They will redifferentiate. Again, there is the process of differentiation. They redifferentiate, and products of de-differentiated cells, products of, mind the term, de-differentiated cells. What is de-differentiated cells? I told you earlier what is de-differentiated cells: intra and interfascicular cambium. So this is the de-differentiated cells. This is the de-differentiated cells. Okay, this is in between the stable cells. Normally stable cells cannot differentiate it or dividing. Okay, stable cells cannot dividing, but in between the stable cells there will be, in between the stable cells means in the xylem and the phloem there will be intrafascicular cambium. They will be originating to the new cells. They are gives originating to the new cells, so they are the de-differentiated cells. Okay, so products of de-differentiated cells divide and mature and do some specific function. Specific function. Specific function. Okay, so what will be the specific function of secondary xylem and secondary phloem? What will be the specific function here? Secondary xylem and secondary phloem are the products of redifferentiation. Okay, so okay, one thing you have to know, in the secondary phloem, along with the secondary phloem, there is one is vascular cambium and other one is what? Cork cambium. So cork cambium give rise to what? Outside there is phloem. Outside there is phloem, and inside there is phloderm. Phloem leads to bark formation. Phloem leads to bark or the cork formation. There will be cork formation at the filament, the cork formation, and the phloderm will produce the secondary cortex. For this topic, you can refer to our video of botany at your fingertips. Okay, the conceptual part I have mentioned in the earlier video. Okay, please refer to that video. You will understand that the cork cambium has two parts. Outer side is cork or phloem, and inner side is phloderm. Inner side is phloderm. Okay, so what will be the specific function? I told you in the redifferentiated cells there will be specific function of each redifferentiated cells. So secondary xylem will lead to wood formation, heartwood and sapwood, heartwood and sapwood. Okay, and the secondary phloem, it will a component of bark, formation. This is a component of bark formation. Clear? And the phloem is a specific function of for what? Phloem is the cork. Clear? Phloem is the cork. Okay, and the secondary cortex. Okay, and the secondary cortex are formed from the redifferentiated cells like intrafascicular cambium, intrafascicular cambium, and you can say that cork cambium is also a de-differentiated cells from where the cork and the secondary cortex are originating. So cork cambium is also a de-differentiated cells. Okay, so from where you can get the secondary phloem and secondary cortex. So these are the examples of secondary xylem, secondary phloem and secondary cortex. Okay, this is the example of phloem or cork. Okay, phloem or cork. Better you write cork. These are the example of formation of redifferentiation. This is the example of redifferentiation. Clear? Okay. The last thing I will talk about today. Okay, there will be 3 or 4 sessions on this chapter. Okay, part by part. One term is plasticity. Okay, what do you mean by plasticity? in the reaction to the environment. Okay, this is a response to the environment. Response to the environment. Okay, how the trees are response or the plants are responding to the environment. Okay, the definition is the ability to change under influence of internal or external stimuli. External stimuli. Internal, external or internal stimuli. Okay. What is heterophyly? What is heterophyly? Very, very important. Heterophyly means different structure, different type of structure, different type of structure in same plant, on same plant, in different, either in different growth, in different growth phases, that is called, that is seen in laxpur. I'll mention that. Laxpur, this is a plant, laxpur. And second is in different environmental condition. In different environmental condition. Okay, two things can be happen. Heterophyly means different type of structure on the same plant due to in the different growth phases of the plant or in different environmental condition of the plant. Okay, in the environmental condition, the example is buttercup. In the example is buttercup. Clear? In the example of buttercup. So in the laxpur, this is the juvenile phase or childish phase. This is the childish phase. This is one growth of the plant. Laxpur is the one growth of the plant is juvenile, and other growth is different from the juvenile phases. This is the adult. This is the adult. Okay, this is the adult. So there will be difference in the growth phase. This is the laxpur and difference in the growth phase. This is an example of heterophyly. Difference in growth phase. Okay, this one is growth phase. And in the buttercup, what will happen in the different environmental condition? In the environmental condition, it will change. So if it is present in terrestrial environment or in the land environment the structure will be what? This will be the structure. This will be the structure of the terrestrial. If it is present in the land, and if it is present in water, then the structure will change. In the structure will change. This will be the structure of the water, in the water. Clear? So buttercup is modify their structure according to environment, and in the laxpur, in the different growth phases will be different structure. Both can be under heterophyly. Both can be under heterophyly. Yeah? And the mnemonic for heterophyly is celebrity cricket league. Okay, or champions cricket league. Champions cricket league. Okay, champions cricket league. C for what? Cotton. C for cotton. Okay, C for again, C for coriander. C for coriander, and L for laxpur. Laxpur. In the laxpur, there will be due to growth phase difference. Due to growth phase in the juvenile or the early phase or the young phase, there will be juvenile phase. This is like that, and the adult phase, this is like that. Okay, there is a difference in the growth phases, and in the due to environmental condition, there will be buttercup, and also buttercup. I have mentioned here, so I did not mention in the mnemonic. Okay, CCL, cotton, coriander, and laxpur. So two extra name, cotton and coriander. Okay, cotton and coriander. Okay. Okay, I am ending this session here because the next hormones part I will cover in the next video. Okay, if you like our video, please like, share and subscribe. Don't forget to click the bell icon so that you cannot miss any further videos. And in the October, we will planning to uh, schedule a more comfortable video according to the topics. Okay, so a great surprise will come in the coming month. Please stay tuned with us, keep supporting us. Okay, please subscribe our channel. Okay, thank you for your kind cooperation. We'll meet soon in the coming week. Okay, all the best and Keep revising the NCRT, keep revising the notes, and you can join our Telegram group for detailed discussion and doubt solving instantly from our various faculties. All the best. All the best.